Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Angela Donohue. I am new to the Skype for Business product marketing team. I'm very excited to be here. I'm new blood, so I'm looking forward to working with all of you. I also have a special guest with me today, Adam Jacobs, who is from Polycom. He is a Microsoft principal architect there. So we're very lucky to have him. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome, thank you.
So I wanted to start off with the Bing Pulse. We wanted to make sure that, that you get your feedback, so please look at the Bing Pulse questions. We also have Q&A manager going throughout the show, so please take a look there. Give us all your tough questions and we will try to answer what we can during the show today. So to jump into our product ecosystem, Skype for Business has a lot of meeting solutions for you already. So we know that there's some things we already currently have for you, like online meetings, which gives you up to 250 attendees. PSTN conferencing, available worldwide in places in countries that we have internet, and then meeting broadcasts, which you're currently listening to right now with a reach of up to 10,000 attendees. A couple new initiatives we have coming from Skype for Business is codename Project Rigel, which you may have heard of. We'll have a lot more information about this at Ignite in a couple weeks. But this is bringing the Skype for Business experience to your meeting rooms through a device, a center of room control. We're really excited about that. And then today, of course, we're here to talk about Cloud Video Interop and the service that we're building together with Polycom. So what actually is this? This is it enables non-native devices to connect to the Skype for Business experience. It's offered again by Polycom worldwide, and it's hosted in Microsoft Cloud on Microsoft Azure. It supports a wide range of devices, including Polycom, Cisco, and other VTC devices. And it's going to support the full Skype for Business experience, which includes audio, visual, and content sharing. What's great about this is also have a very simple join link and scheduling URL, which we'll talk more about. So why is this important to you and your customers? Well, first, you can leverage your existing video investments, so saving you a lot of money here. Again, because it's based in the cloud, there's no additional hardware required. It's also going to integrate into your current Skype meeting workflow. So there's nothing that you'll have to do. It'll be automatic and you'll be able to join, and the instructions will be there for how your devices can join directly. And very easy to procure and provision. We'll talk more about that as you purchase through Polycom, but you have the enablement through Office 365 admin portal. You might have asked yourself, why didn't Microsoft build this in-house? Why are we partnering with Polycom? Well, for one, there's many reasons, but some of the few highlights here is that Polycom has just the industry expertise and the global reach that Microsoft needs to deploy these types of services. And we've been partnering with Polycom for many years, and they've already had existing technologies that already integrate into Office 365 to make things easy for you and your customers. And of course, their existing Real Connect technology just is the best in class. And Adam actually himself has worked on some of this technology with Real Connect. So again, great to have him here. So at this time, I want to introduce Albert Kooiman, who you probably already know and love. He is our engineering PM. He and Adam will get a little more deeper into the details, as well as show you a demo. Albert?
Thank you. So how do we get here, Adam? We are building this cloud video interop service together.
Yes.
So what are actually the current customer pain points that we are trying to address there?
So the current pain points are, I guess, twofold. One is scheduling the meetings is often quite difficult. Everything's very ad hoc. So if I want to bring a VTC into a meeting, I either have to drag and drop it into the call, which is complex and confusing. Or it could be a virtual meeting room call where everyone dials into a room. So the Skype for Business users, the VTC users, from there on in, it starts to break the user experience.
But essentially, we start with the point that the customer has investments, right? So they have investment in meeting rooms and they want to preserve those.
Right.
So, and there are a couple of solutions out there. You mentioned just a moment ago what you abbreviated as VMR. What is a VMR?
So a VMR which stands for virtual meeting room, is basically it's typically a number or a URI of some sort that everyone dials, and it's effectively like a point-to-point call, but it's one-to-many. So everyone dials in, and then a standards-based bridge creates a layout or a composition of everyone that's in the call.
And it's actually then a parallel meeting that's going on.
Yes.
So it's a separate meeting based on this VMR. So if you then, this meeting then joins a Skype for Business meeting, what are all the things that are different then, or what I would call broken?
Right.
So tell me about that.
So from a Skype for Business standpoint, the user experience becomes drastically different. So the first thing is the layout, the video layout. Mm-hmm. So instead of me seeing a familiar gallery view layout, I'm seeing typically a composition of multiple users.
So you just have one video stream of that other meeting that's going on, right, inside your Skype for Business meeting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if I have this, not the new beautiful Mac client, but we have this Skype for Business desktop client, yeah, in that little square, yeah, all of a sudden there are other little squares?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh. And what is with the content there?
So the content in many of those types of solutions becomes composited into the video stream as well. So again, you quite often you don't get a gallery, a stage, yeah, right, where you can see the content independently, or you could pop it out and put it onto another monitor. You can't do any of that. Mm-hmm. It's basically part of the people video at that point.
So that is the user experience from, let's say, the incoming video streams and the incoming content stream. Right. What is with the whole participants and the control over the participants?
Good point. Yeah, the other thing that you're going to miss out on here is the roster. So you're not going to see that familiar roster view where you can control things, mute, unmute, disconnect. That's all lost at that point.
And video spotlight?
Video spotlight, again, you're not going to get that. It's going to change the whole experience.
So then with regards to the other thing that I hear a lot about is that if you have the solutions now, there is actually quite a bit of upfront investment that is required. So, right. So can you tell a little bit about that? So what do you typically do when you now deploy an on-prem solution?
So in the past, a lot of vendors will basically start to sell you hardware-based components, and mm-hmm, you'll pay for a specific amount of resources that you need on those components. Now that's shifting quite significantly now.
Yeah, you introduced Polycom Clarity, right?
Right,
it's
exactly.
a new offer.
It is, and it is very different to what we've done in the past, in that instead of you investing in tin that you deploy on-prem, you're basically subscribing to a software subscription, and you can deploy whatever you like, and you can scale up and down, and everything is virtualized at that point.
So for people who are on-prem, this Polycom Clarity is actually a great way to go in that sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
But now we are talking today about cloud video interop.
We are.
So let's actually focus now on the solution that we are building. So what is so new about this whole thing that we are designing? So what are the things that we are doing here? Well, let's start first, for example, with that aspect that I mentioned just a second ago, the upfront investment. Okay. So how do people procure this? How do people actually then enable this?
So that's definitely a key area, which is very different. The first thing is that everything is activated via Office 365. So you basically start off by adding a waffle application.
And who is you? That's the IT admin.
The
right?
IT admin. Exactly.
So the IT admin goes into Office 365 in the yes, Skype for Business admin portal.
Correct.
And what are the steps then that they need to do?
So they would go into the marketplace, they would find a Polycom waffle application, and that application would be given access to their Azure AD. And at that point, they can then put in their activation code, which then entitles them to X number of licenses, which can then be assigned via the Office 365 admin portal.
So first step is I go as an IT admin, I go to the marketplace of Office, and there I essentially acquire for $0 a new app. And that $0 app is essentially the enablement of tying in your license that you have in Polycom to the users that I have in Skype for Business.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. So I have done that. I've installed this app. As an IT admin, I have an extra waffle, not for the end user, but just for the admin.
Correct.
And at that point in time, what shows up? So I can, for my users, then start assigning licenses. How does that work?
So, I mean, that's very similar to the model that you have today with PSTN licensing or PSTN conferencing. So in the same way, you can acquire X number of PSTN conference licenses, you can do the same thing with video interop. And then as an IT admin, I can then assign those licenses to the users I want to have the ability to organize meetings with video interop.
So this one is scheduled per user and it's not scheduled per room.
Correct.
So that's very different as well, right? So in the
Very
past, you essentially enabled rooms to be allowed to be scheduled as an interop.
Right.
Here you now have the user, so it's a very user-centric model. And it's like what you said, like in PSTN conferencing, you essentially can enable each and every one of those users that you believe that needs this particular feature of having Skype video interop in the cloud. They, at that point in time, are enabled. What happens then once they are enabled? What does the admin need to do then?
So once the user's enabled, from that point forth, when they schedule Skype meetings, they're going to have additional information within their invite. So there's nothing more that needs to be done by the admin. It's just that at that point, they're going to have dial-in details that are specific to VTCs that might want to join a meeting. They're going to have access to a page that allows users to find join information for their specific make and model of VTC.
Before we go further, maybe we play the video of that step. So we are here in a Skype meeting broadcast, so we are essentially using now the video to show you what is the user experience. And I'm now talking about the licensed end user, so let's roll the clip.
Sure. So as you can see here, we're just creating a regular Skype meeting. There's nothing special about this. We're just inviting the various folks that we want to be on this call. We're also inviting our room systems as well, and that's important because
so you have a SIP URI for the particular room,
right? Or actually, an email address if you like.
An email address, yeah, because that's how it shows up in their calendar. So if you have a Polycom system or a Cisco system, yeah, that's what you see on the calendar. Exactly,
and typically those are resource mailboxes, and a lot of businesses use those to not only book an appointment on the VTC itself, but also to allocate time to the room. So if the room's available, then obviously it'll get accepted. If it's not available, it gets denied.
All right. And then, so let's actually see what happens then when you, as an end user, would like to join. Let's actually take a look here at what that looks like. So you get this invite now in your inbox as a participant, not as the organizer, but as the participant, right?
Yes. Well, there's no crazy science here. It's basically we're just joining a Skype meeting as we would today. So there's nothing new from a Skype for Business user perspective. They're just doing what they know, and there's nothing new.
Okay.
However, what we are seeing is a user experience that is
Let's stop the video here for a second, because let's actually analyze now what we see on the screen, right? So in the top left corner, there you see a particular room.
Yes. So this room actually is what we call an immersive telepresence room. And basically that room is comprised of typically multiple video endpoints that merge together to become one. So, a lot of businesses will allocate a room within their organization to these systems, and they'll have perhaps day-long meetings, and the idea there is that they can leverage this room as a way to avoid international travel.
Yeah, and what is brilliant as well, I see that room actually appeared twice. What is the thing at the bottom there?
So what we're replicating here is basically either a CX5000 or a roundtable experience, in that immersive room is being displayed within the panoramic video strip. And you're seeing the active cell from that room within the gallery view. So it's basically mirroring the experience you get from a panoramic camera.
So we actually are using now the Pano view as well for making sure that we have the whole immersive experience as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, let's continue.
So we actually have another VTC that's joining now, and I believe that'll populate the other cell. So we're basically able to get up to 4 participants in the panoramic strip, or an immersive room +1, as you're seeing here.
Excellent. All right. Let's actually then go to the next part, which is very often discussed. So how do you actually join
from a VTC? Yeah.
From a VTC. Yeah. So now I'm using one of those. I am not allowed to say old systems, but they are old, right? Look look at this. This is okay,
yeah.
let's go back. Yeah, here we are. So this is the Cisco thing.
So this is a Polycom. The last one was a Cisco.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's our Cisco. And basically, what you'll see here is that they're not dialing a number. Now, quite often with VTCs, you're using a remote control, and the remote controls can be kind of confusing, and you end up dialing a long string of numbers. But the idea here is that we're leveraging that Skype for Business invite as a way that they can just also join the meeting with a single click.
So if you have shelled out the money for a touch control instead of this remote control, the remote control really looks like a TV remote control, right? Has the buttons in there. At that very moment, you essentially are able to join from the calendar.
Correct.
And then you just one touch, you join, because behind the scenes, you are taking care of this correlation.
Right. There is some magic happening. So behind the scenes, we're basically translating the Skype meeting from a Skype invite to a number, which is typically the conference ID, at either a specific domain. In our case, the domain is plcm.vc, or either an IP address which is located in the region where that user is located. So all of the things that happen behind the scenes are basically translated into the ability just to click it via the calendar.
Okay, and if you're now not that lucky that you can click, so what happens then?
So if you can't click, the other options are either dialing the conference ID associated with the Skype
So that's
meeting.
a phone call.
It's like a phone call, yeah. Or we're looking to have the ability to dial into like an IVR. So you dial you maybe have a speed dial associated with your tenancy, and you dial that number for everyone, and then you punch in the conference ID associated with it.
And then again, all the magic, you take care of that, right?
Absolutely.
You correlate that dialing number that you have there.
Yes.
With the meeting ID in the Skype for Business meeting, and then that one particular endpoint joins the Skype for Business meeting as a single entity, as one room in your roster.
Correct.
That's brilliant. Okay, cool. Then let's actually continue.
So if we look at what the experience is like from the VTC, so the VTC now is seeing the
so
Skype
here we are
users,
looking at the Polycom experience.
Right, and they're seeing the Skype users in independent cells there, like we would expect from a regular a regular call. And then the other thing that's happening here is content sharing. So in a moment we're going to see the video room system sharing content, and the content is going to appear again in a very similar way to what a Skype user would expect.
So here we've got a Skype for Business client.
Yep. And that's the content being sent from the room system. So that's being translated.
So this is coming from a system like the Polycom system or the Cisco system.
Correct.
And it just appears where we expect it to appear in the Skype for Business client.
Exactly.
And this is on the other side, right? So can we go back a little bit? So,
yes.
So this is then on the side of, one moment. So this is on the side for the
Yeah, so if we look at what it would look like from the room system perspective, the room system, typically they expect it either to be composited or on a separate screen, because quite often VTCs will have more than one screen within the room. So what you're seeing here is basically the content on one screen, and then the video or people layout on the second screen.
Yeah. So this all doesn't come automatically, right? So we have been working very, very closely, and especially on creating effectively a new set of APIs in Skype for Business, and those new set of APIs enable to do this correlation, enable to join as a separate stream inside the Skype meeting, enable to do content. By the way, on content, we are talking a lot in Microsoft now about our new feature called video-based screen sharing.
Yes.
What's going on there? So if you have content, what are the protocols that we are using, and are you going to support video-based screen sharing?
Good question. Yeah. So today with our on-prem solution right now, we're using the remote desktop protocol, but we are now transitioning to the video-based screen sharing protocol, which is H.264, and obviously the benefits there from a standards-based video perspective are that the video doesn't need to be translated into another format. So we can get a much much better frame rate, lower bandwidth utilization, and less translation has to happen behind the scenes. So we're going to actually launch that first in the new cloud video interop service.
That's probably in line with what we would expect, right? So that's great to hear as well. Now, now I'm an IT admin. I'm interested. What would I want to do here? So the first question that comes up: what Skype for Business is supported here, right? This is only online.
Correct. Yes. So basically, the initial launch will basically be targeted towards organizers that have their accounts homed in Skype for Business Online. Now, if someone is based on-prem, then obviously they can join the meeting, but for you to take advantage of the cloud video interop service, you'll need to be homed online.
And then with regards to Exchange, we saw that when you send out the invite, it actually appears in all those other mailboxes.
Right.
What are the dependencies on Exchange actually? So that's about it, right? It's the scheduling.
Yeah.
And therefore, there's actually no direct correlation with the service, but it essentially uses the scheduling. So what versions of Exchange do we support?
We use Exchange Web Services, so Exchange 2007 or higher. Exchange Online, Exchange On-Prem, we don't really care.
So there is not a real hard dependency a part of having EWS support,
Correct.
Exchange Web Services support.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, and then so another question that comes up all the time is about, okay, hey, I have my user in Skype for Business, so the whole relevance of having DearSync, et cetera, is actually a moot point, right? Because you have your users of Skype for Business in the cloud already.
Right.
So you can still have DearSync, right? But what does that add actually? It's the more or less the link to the on-prem Exchange that you might have, right?
Right. So the customer may have DearSync if they're synchronizing their on-prem AD. That's fine, but in all cases they're going to have an Azure AD, and that's what we're using to post attributes. So there's no prerequisite there.
And what devices does this technology support? So we spoke about it has its, let's say, its DNA from RealConnect. So where can I, as an IT admin, find out what devices are supported? So
we are going to be publishing a list, and the list will be made available first to our TAP participants, which we'll talk about in a moment. And they're going to be basically, the majority of endpoints that we see in market from vendors like Cisco and Lifesize and of course Polycom as well.
That's awesome. So you will publish that information on your website, and that information is very much similar to what you can find already with RealConnect support.
Absolutely, be the same.
It will be the same. Okay, that's an even stronger statement. And then, so you spoke about something that we abbreviated again, the Technology Adoption Program, TAB.
Yes.
We are using this website called skypepreview.com. I will come back to that in a moment. But the first step that we have for those participants that are signing up there is we essentially take a small subset of those users and we run this technology adoption program. So this technology adoption program is about to start, right? So
yes, it is. Yes, it's going to start hopefully later this month.
Later this month, and then that's the first batch of customers that are going to try this out.
Yes.
And then thereafter, we are rolling this out. So the next step is then the preview, what we call the public preview, where everyone who has signed up for Skype for Business can actually apply to be part of that. And we are going to roll that out slowly then. And so that's the next step. Then where is it going to be available first, and what is with all the geographies? So what the worldwide rollout is announced, but how is that going to work?
So we're going to launch in North America first at the end of this year, and then at the beginning of next year we're going to roll out to other geographies.
So this is running in Azure, right?
Correct.
So essentially, once you have got the stuff running in the North America data centers, you're going to cookie cutter it and roll it over the rest of the world. Now, we have a lot of special Azure instances as well, like Government Cloud and Go Local. So I understand that Government Cloud is in plan as well, and the Go Local. And so can you tell a little bit more about that? So it's in plan, but we don't have a specific date?
No dates yet, but it is planned, and there is demand for it that we're aware of.
Yeah, and just for Government Cloud, we know that we need to go through some extra certification, which will add to the time as well. So before we go to the Q&A, what is actually the call to action for everyone who's here, right? So the call to action is actually sign up for Skype Preview, right? So go to skypepreview.com, and there you can enlist yourself. You will actually entitle us then to share your name with Polycom so that we can actually jointly offer you this service. But that's the thing. So let's actually go to the Q&A.
Sure.
So how would an endpoint dial in? So very often this question comes up of, okay, hey, I just want to join one room to another room, and I want to use a Skype for business. How does this work ad hoc?
So you mean from if I was using like the virtual meeting room model?
Well, yeah, can I join just if I did not get this invite from the organizer? How can I join a room in that particular case?
So if the VTC itself wasn't invited into the meeting, then you as a person that's joining the call will have join information within your invite. Now, the default join would be either a number, which is partly the conference ID at a specific domain associated with the cloud video interop service, or you would click a dial-in information page.
Mm-hmm.
And that dial-in information page will give you not only local join instructions based upon where you're located, but it will also give you model-specific dial-in instructions, because not every video endpoint accepts the same dial string.
Yeah.
So we'll translate that.
Basically, there has to be a Skype for Business meeting before anything can join. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's the hardcore requirement. So it is not that you can start a meeting from a legacy endpoint, from an old VTC.
Right.
You have to have a Skype meeting going on, and then you can see how you can join the other endpoint. And that can either be by sending them an invite after the fact, or sending them or IMing them the coordinates of what the meeting ID is. And that conference ID then will give the magic key to actually enter that particular meeting.
Exactly.
So we spoke about, okay, hey, the only requirement is that you have Skype for Business users in online. Many customers are in this hybrid. So if I have Skype for Business online, Exchange online works, right?
Yep.
If I have Skype for Business online, I've got Exchange on-prem.
Mm-hmm.
Works?
Yes. Yep.
No problem there. So if I have Skype for Business on-prem and Exchange on-prem,
that's when you're looking at an on-prem solution.
Like Parity and like
exactly.
RealConnect in the traditional sense.
If the organizer's account is based on-prem, then they're going to need to at launch leverage an on-prem instance of RealConnect via Clarity or whatnot.
Okay, and then they join essentially a Skype for Business meeting that is in online.
Correct.
Right? So we don't care about that. The meeting is going on. There's only one meeting, unlike a VMR. There's only one meeting, and that one meeting you can just join your endpoint to.
Exactly.
And that endpoint then works. And then, so when you schedule this, it comes in as an Outlook invite.
Yes.
And some of the VTC systems are able to parse that Outlook invite and actually see, okay, hey, there's a join link there.
Yes.
Others, you will have to enter it manually. So that's how it works.
Yes.
So we spoke a little bit about how to acquire. So it is used, or so we say, an IT admin installs this app, and then they essentially get a license from you guys. So how does that work? So you, as an IT admin, I actually still go as an enterprise. I still go to Polycom and I buy my license from Polycom.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
So once you've got your license, and
so you have made your payment.
You've made your payment, and it's for X number of users for.
So you buy per user. Yeah.
You would then go to the Waffle application that we discussed earlier, and you basically take that activation code and you'd input it into the Waffle application.
So you get a string, and then with that string, once you have entered it, again, magically in Office 365, we know this is how many users you can assign as an IT admin.
Right. And once you've done that, you're going to basically go into the admin portal, and you'll see X number of licenses that you can then go and assign to various users. Just
so
like the SDN.
Yeah. So there's an extra entry in the Skype for Business portal,
Yes.
and then you can actually start assigning all those users with a particular license. And this is per user per month, right? So you can actually, well, it depends a little bit of what type of contract you close with Polycom, but you can scale on demand. You don't need to, let's say, blanket all your users. We hope, of course, that everyone does this because it's so useful. But you can actually cherry pick how many users you would like to have. It's exactly as with PSTN conferencing. So per user per month, and the moment that I assign, I effectively check out that license. It's no longer available. So let's say if you buy 100 licenses, once you have assigned it to one user, it becomes 99 that I now have available, and one user now, when they send their invite, it automatically will have this magic link of how to join a VTC. Right. That's pretty compelling, right? There's no upfront investment. There's essentially just buy the stuff and get a key, enter the key in your Waffle app, and then you can start assigning license. Absolutely. Excellent. So let me see. So we are working together, but there is quite a bit of solutions out there that we are not working together with. What is essentially the support that we are offering? So you are essentially, it's your app. So you're actually doing the support here, right?
Yes. So this is maintained, supported, it's operated by Polycom. I mean, we're still working out the way support's going to work, but ultimately, support is going to come into Polycom.
Yeah. And actually, let me also turn it around from our side, right? So there's a lot of solutions out there that we do not work with. And I can be very clear. So we are working together so closely in order to make sure that it works end to end. And we don't have that collaboration going with all the other vendors that are out there.
Right.
So despite that all those other vendors are saying, hey, yes, we offer this Skype for Business Interop, I can be very clear. There's no guarantee from our side that this will continue to work. And I'm not saying that we will deliberately break anything whatsoever, but I am very aware of all the changes that are coming, like VBSS is coming now. We are introducing more and different video codecs. The signaling is changing quite a bit. So we have essentially together built this API that shields you off of everything that we are changing under the hood. Yep. So it's for our customers, it's a big guarantee that actually the solution will work, because you have built on top of this API, and whatever we change under the hood, we make sure that API doesn't break. And that's very different from all the other alternatives that are out there, apart from this whole VMR concept, which absolutely sucks according to me, but who am I to say? So let's be very clear about that. So yeah, those were the questions that have come in so far. So then, yeah, let's actually wrap it up. Call to action, skypepreview.com, guys and gals, go there. And yeah, of course, we will have a lot of stuff going on at Ignite. So in a couple of weeks, the 26th, it's unfortunately sold out. So you cannot come over and fly and see our beautiful 75-minute session on Skype Video Intro that we are going to do there. But all those recordings will be available afterwards. So we record the sessions. I hope that this was a very useful solution for you as well. It will be part of this. Yeah, that's our conclusion of today. Thank you so much for coming over.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, come more and learn more at Ignite. And this is very exciting. Sign up at skypepreview.com and we will have a brilliant solution for you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.